It was astonishing to me because I had so many conversations, and frankly, they often started as confrontations with students, not just at Columbia, but elsewhere. Where were they getting their information? They were getting it from social media. They were getting it most particularly from TikTok, which is governed by an algorithm until, at least up till now, still largely manipulated by the Chinese Communist Party.
Last week, Hillary Clinton stated that young Americans have turned against Israel because of social media and China. It's not because of their own eyes, Cenk, but what do you make of this? What are your 2 cents here?
Yeah, I think she's definitely right that where people are getting their information has changed. And she is definitely wrong that that's a bad thing. It's an awesome thing. And we're gonna show you why. And by the way, we're also gonna show you how she totally agrees with the right wing. That's weird. Only usually when one thing comes into account. Israel, go ahead, Jordan.
Now let's watch Clinton berate young Americans for not learning the entire history of Israel before criticizing its current government. Take a look.
Remember, more than 50% of Americans, predominantly a much bigger percentage among young people, get their news from social media. So when you were having conversations, and I would say something like, if Yasser Arafat had accepted the offer that was made by my husband and the then Israeli government in 2000, there would have been a Palestinian state now for 25 years. And I cannot tell you how many times they said, "Who's Yasser Arafat?" All those people chanting from the river to the sea, when you asked them what river, what sea, they had no idea. I mean, this is a serious problem that goes far beyond the terrible, in my view, misinterpretation and unfairness that we saw post October 7th in many different venues.
Sure, young Americans may not know the entire history of the Middle East, but you don't have to be alive when Bill Clinton tried negotiating with Yasser Arafat to recognize mass murder and genocide is morally wrong, and that's why they are upset. As far as Clinton's allegations that the Chinese government is running a propaganda campaign through TikTok, let's hear from Senator Mitt Romney explain which government is really trying to control the app. Take a look.
Some wonder why there was such overwhelming support for us to shut down potentially TikTok or other entities of that nature. If you look at the postings on TikTok and the number of mentions of Palestinians relative to other social media sites, it's overwhelmingly so among TikTok broadcasts. So I'd note that's of real interest, and the president will get the chance to make action in that regard. Typically, the Israelis are good at PR. What's happened here? How have they and we been so ineffective at communicating the realities there and our point of view?
Now, it goes deeper than TikTok. Last week, we showed you the following video of Jordana Cutler, the director of public policy for Israel and the Jewish diaspora at Meta. Take a look.
We banned content with harmful stereotypes about Jews, such as the claim that Jews run the world or other major institutions. We updated our policies to recognize that the term Zionist can be used as a proxy for Jews and Israelis. We banned content claiming Zionists run the world or control the media, and we do not allow for dehumanizing comparisons of Zionists.
And just this year alone, David Ellison has taken control of Paramount, which owns CBS News. Speaking of CBS News, Barry Weiss was appointed its editor-in-chief. Larry Ellison's company is poised to become involved with TikTok, and Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu admitted on tape that he's attempting to control both TikTok and X. But Cenk, what do you make of what Hillary Clinton had to say overall?
First of all, I mean, every time I see that clip, I gotta say about that lady we just showed you from Meta. The Zionists who are controlling Meta have banned anyone who say that the Zionists are controlling Meta. You just said it. And you say, wait, is it fair to call her a Zionist? She was literally a former Israeli government official. Okay, so that's hilarious. So now if you don't know about Hillary Clinton's history, which I'm sure that not a lot of folks do, right? And she doesn't want you to know about that history. I think it's hilarious that she's like, oh, they don't know the real history. No, what she's actually saying is they don't know the propaganda that we have been forcing down the throats of Americans for decade after decade. Why is our propaganda machine broken? Come on, mainstream media, breathe, breathe. Come on, CBS, come on, CNN, come on, New York Times. Tell them how great Israel is. Tell them what a great special ally they are and how they have to all bow their heads. And if they don't, they're anti-Semites and their lives should be. Okay, Hillary, it's not gonna work anymore. So how did they do that in the past? Through a lot of different things. By the way, if you don't know, Ghislaine Maxwell's dad is Robert Maxwell. He bought Macmillan Publishing, which published our history books. Robert Maxwell was a legendary Mossad spy who stole our nuclear secrets. Why are we letting Israeli spies buy our publishing companies? He owned 3-4 different publishing companies. Back in the day, I mean, that was some professional hasbara. That was propaganda on a global scale, right? So now their control is slipping away from them. They're like, now they're seeing all the evil things Israel's doing. Boo! Remember that beautiful piece of propaganda we had that my husband created about how there was a peace deal and all the no good, dirty Palestinians had to do was sign, but they wouldn't do it. It's all their fault for being occupied. The Israelis had to enslave them for their own good. And we offered them some amount of their property back. I mean, Israel was gonna keep a huge chunk. And they said they didn't want a lot of their land stolen. No, it's their fault. No, Hillary, it's not their fault. You've been lying about this for a long time, but I mentioned Hillary's history. What does that have to do with it? Her largest donor, last I checked, was Haim Sabat, a massive pro-Israel radical. Part of his job is to donate so much money to the leading Democratic figures that they never, ever question Israel. And don't worry, those donors also exist on the right. Oh, you're not allowed to talk about those donors, we're gonna cancel you for being an anti-Semite. Good luck, go for it. Do those donors exist? Yes. Do they demand loyalty to Israel? Definitely. Was it one of the largest donors for Hillary Clinton? Absolutely. But she will say, no, I mean, I took all those tens of millions of dollars and so did my husband, and now we're stinking rich or unbelievably rich. Okay, but those are not the same. Those are campaign contributions. Those are legalized bribes. And I just somehow wound up with all the money and all the power. And all I had to do was say that I will serve Israel loyally. But you're not allowed to say. You're not allowed. These young people, they don't know anything about history. Hey, Hillary, do you know about history? Do you know about Irgun? Do you know about the Stern Gang? Do you know about Haganah? Those are Zionist terrorist groups from before 1948 that did one set of terrorist strikes after another, after another. Do you know about the USS Liberty, how they attacked us? Do you know about all the Americans they've killed in the West Bank with no accountability? Do you know that in 1967, Israel was not attacked? We were lied to en masse by our media. You can look it up now. Now, after the fact, after all, everybody's been brainwashed. Like, oh yeah. I mean, Israel attacked first. It destroyed all of the air force of their opponents in the Middle East. And they called it a preemptive war. Then they spread that poison to America about preemptive wars. You know what a preemptive war is? When an imperial power with more might and military capability destroys their neighbors in an offensive war, usually takes their natural resources or their land, and then says, as they could hardly contain their laughter, we did it for self-defense. Then why did you take the Sinai, the West Bank, the Gaza Strip, and the Golan Heights? Well, part of that was, oh, no, we needed to expand our territory, the Germans said, in order to have breathing space. You can't mention the Germans, even though they're doing the same exact thing as the Israelis. Then what did the Germans say? They said we need the Sudetenland for self-defense. We have native Germans and we gotta protect the Germans. I know, shh. Have you studied history? Hillary, did you study the history of genocides? Do you know that in Srebrenica, they purposely blocked food and aid getting into the country so that they could set up their own food distribution centers so that when the Muslims showed up at Srebrenica, they would be easier to murder. Where have I seen that recently? So it's not like she doesn't know this. And by the way, we're a fair show. Her husband did an amazing job in stopping the genocide that was going on there in Bosnia, Srebrenica, so many other places. And I thank him greatly for that. So it's complicated. But it's what it isn't is her saying, "You young people, you're daring to defy my beloved Israel, and it's all your fault. You're ignorant." No, they're not ignorant. You're just a liar. You do massive propaganda for Israel, and almost none of it is true. Every time you ring the bell below, an angel gets his wings. Totally not true, but it does keep you updated on our live shows.